G'day folks. Over the past couple of days I've been creating a crystal mandala again, a new one. This time for new directions in community and civilization. I mean, let's not be petty about this thing. Let's look at the big picture. So what I looked at with this is that first off I'll go through it with you, and then I'm going to do a video to explain what I feel. As you can see right at the back, there's a sign saying how often, and I think this represents the actions that are building up where people are refusing to settle in the present day for activities that they find unacceptable. The phrase actually comes from Women Who Run With Wolves by Clarissa Estole Pincays, and I sort of move that around because it fires me up to keep going in activity and resistance. And looking at the world in new ways, you might say. Now, either side of that sign, there's a little jar of sage, and on the other side a bundle of sage for cleansing. And those two are for cleansing, sending out cleansing energies towards the world because of all the conflict and the anger and the difficult times that we're going through at the present time. In front of the how often sign, you'll see a fossilised inner ear bone from a whale, and that's really to help us remember that everything is in change. Societies have always grown and changed. There's been upheaval, there's been revolution, there's been new means of production and so on, and that is to let us listen to the past and then listen also to the new forms of civilization that are coming into being at the present time. There's also quite a few bits of amethyst in here today. Right in front of the inner ear bone, it's a double terminated amethyst, and that's to send out spiritual energies in all directions, and also to listen to our inner voice so that we can get divorced from the day-to-day havoc and chaos at the present time, which can bog us down in anger and really lack of direction. In front of the double terminated amethyst is petersite, which is the tempest stone, and that really represents the upheaval that we're going through at the present time. Things are in a great crucible of change, and it can be difficult, it can be stormy, we're in difficult seas, and this is to help us traverse those seas as we head to new directions in community. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's 3 lots of amethyst here. On either side you'll see 2 pieces of double terminated celestial amethyst. That's where the surface is flattened. Rather than having points, the surface is flattened, and that really is for introspection, to bring us into alignment with our spiritual gifts, to listen to spiritual guidance, and to consider how we're going to build new civilizations and communities which reflect the goodness of people, which can help foster peace and compassion and tolerance. Now, either side of the petersite is a piece of fossilised wood, a heart shape, which is love for the earth, and the other side is a concretion, which reminds us of the riches that come out of the earth. There's also, beside the double terminated quartz, a lithium included quartz, which might sound actually that's a bit wrong. Either side of double terminated amethyst, there's a lithium included quartz, which actually is to help settle people, to calm down the conflict that we're feeling, the anger and the rage, and perhaps the feeling of impotence at the present time as things happen over which we haven't got a lot of control. On the other side of the double terminated quartz is aquamarine, and a raw piece of aquamarine. And that again is to help us to tune into our emotions and achieve emotional balance. Now, in front of the petersite you can see a green stone, and that's a malachite. And I'm really quite proud of this malachite because I found it in a wholesale store, and it's actually got a butterfly carved out of it. I don't know how this has happened because it's pretty hard to do something like that in tumbled quartz, but I do know that when I took it up to the counter, the owner was extremely cranky that I'd found it and sort of tried to pressure me into giving it over, and I said to her, well no, I found it and it's meant for me. So I've hung on to it. This one is actually for transformation, but also malachite takes us deep into sometimes the pain we feel with transformation, emotional transformation. So this is to help us cope emotionally. In front of that is a terminated quartz with lots of little terminations at the base. It looks like a little family standing there, and that's to remind us that we are a family of humanity, that we may be in different countries, we may have different religions, but underneath we're all united, we're all the same, and that we have the same interests in common. Most of us just want a peaceful life. We want our kids to grow up and have a future. We want food in our bellies. We want education, and it's common to everyone. It doesn't matter who we are. It's common to everybody. On one side of this quartz is a piece of pipestone, which is sacred to Native Americans, and I've put that there to represent the fight for clean water in the United States at the present time, where people are trying to stop oil pipelines going through, and it's to remind us of the power of water. Without water we're stuffed. If we haven't got clean water, we get ill, and this is to remind us that the people at Standing Rock are taking the lead in bringing back to our consciousness the importance of water and the defence of water from the oil and multinationals that really don't give a toss about how communities cope if water is polluted. On the other side of that is a charoite wand. This is one of my unusual finds when I was in a crystal workshop warehouse in England. And this is focus. This is spiritual focus. This is to help us imagine how we can build better worlds, how we can build worlds that serve the people and not just a small billionaire class. Now, either side of those, you'll also see two crystal wands. The one on the right, I bought when I was in Australia actually. I was living on the wheat belt outside of Perth. Her name is Andromeda, and she is there for the female power. On the other side is another crystal terminated wand, and this is one that I got in Aberdeen when I was living in Scotland. I walked round the corner and this really just flashed at me. It was like a light going off. And this one is the male principle, the one that keeps us focused, the energy, the balance, the female, the intuitive, the male, the one that gets things done. In front of those is Angel Aura Quartz, which is to bring in the angelic realms, to inspire us and to remind us that we are also, in creating new worlds, we're following a spiritual path towards a higher version of ourselves. On that point, actually, I have to say that I don't actually agree with Ascension. I think we're here to live on Earth and to find out how to live peacefully with Mother Earth. I don't think it helps to imagine that we are going to lift off into some other dimension, which seems to be quite contemptuous of the Earth, which supports and nurtures us. And on the other side of that, in front of the pipestone, are two little garden quartzes. And these are where you look into clear quartz and you can see patterns inside of inclusions. And this is to remind us that within us there's a whole arena of thoughts, wishes, hopes and fears. And to remember to be kind to ourselves when we're working towards a new society. The amethyst at the front, the amethyst is polished, and that's a sort of like a polished version of what we're hoping to create in the future, you might say. But either side of the malachite, which you can't see very clearly, there are two growth interrupted quartzes, and this to me represents the fact that society advances in different stages and you can't really hurry it up. People will move towards in different directions when they understand and when they've had experience of what doesn't work, and they try out what does work. So that's all the crystals in this mandala. It took a while to create. I have 2 candles there for the emotional state, and I've only just added those in. And what I normally do when I'm creating these crystal mandalas, is I start with the sort of basics, and then sort of leave it, and every day keep going back, and then getting more inspiration about what needs to be added to bring the whole thing into focus. So that is about changing worlds at the present time, and then I'm going to do a later video talking about changing worlds, what the direction we're going in. So that's it for today, folks. Good afternoon to you.